Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Thursday. We've almost made it through another one, haven't we? These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I've picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. I'm going to lean on the mediocre athlete part today, and I apologize if I've told this story before, but I've been doing this for about a year and a half now. So some of these anecdotes are probably going to get mixed up and repurposed a little bit. So if you've heard any of this before, I apologize. I couldn't remember talking about it. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but thanks for being here regardless. um, Tough love. Doesn't feel like it's tough. Doesn't feel like it's love when it's happening, but it's like that old Nick Lowe song, Cruel to Be Kind, right? Also remade by Letters to Cleo in the 10 Things I Hate About You soundtrack. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, pick it up. It's I say modern retelling, it's a turn of the century retelling of Taming of the Shrew. Man, turn of the century. Boom, age spots just jumped out on my skin there. Back in the day. Anyway, um, Cruel to Be Kind. It's not abusive, it's not petty, it's leadership with backbone, making a hard call. You're not punishing, you're pushing. Here's the story you might have heard before. When I was in about fifth grade or so, it was my last year playing with the younger version of the boys club team, the Leathernecks, uh, Wichita Falls. Uh, the way the weight limits worked, unlike Pop Warner, you only had to make weight one time. So you made weight, you were good the rest of the season. Now back then, the weight limit was, gosh, 85 pounds, I think. Um, my first couple of years, it was 83. This was my last year playing with the Leathernecks, and you know, I was big man on campus. I was one of the biggest kids on the team. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have had trouble making weight. Um, I was going to be the starting center. I was going to be playing nose guard or middle linebacker when we shifted into our our 5-3 stack or our 4-3. Uh, 5-3 stack, you got a five-man front, and then you got linebackers basically hiding behind. So it's a very run-oriented defense. Obviously, you know, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, they're not throwing the ball a lot, so you can get away with a 5-3 stack. It also makes it easier to blitz and stuff. Anyway, um, starting center, starting nose guard, and man, I was ready. I had missed at least one game, maybe two, and finally made weight, and I was pumped. I was ready. All through pregame, they've got me working with the starting group, and I'm ready to go. Kickoff happens. I, I'm about to run out, and the coach says, "Pat, wait." Yeah, they called me Pat back then. Wait, and he sent in my my replacement, kid named Joey. Um, Not a bad center. I was better. I look at the coach and I'm like, "What?" And he said, "He's been starting. I'm keeping him." I was incensed, but I was a team player, so I'm on the sidelines cheering and yelling and happy and acting happy anyway. Um, wow, I was sitting there just stewing in my juices. I was mad. I was in. My dad, who was one of the assistant coaches, later told me, he said, "I could tell you were mad." He said, "But man, you were putting on a good front." He said, "People who don't know you as well as me wouldn't have known." And I said, "Did coach know?" He said, "He didn't know, but he knew." So finally, after the first or second series, he finally sent me in. I run in like my hair is on fire. I go in there. My first snap, I snap the ball. I snap with my right hand and I come up with my left hand and throw a forearm. It catches the nose guard right underneath the chin. It knocks him back. He's on the ground. I go to where the ball's going to be. I knock down the linebacker. I was so mad that all of that anger I just channeled inside and turned it into aggressive energy, right? And it was like that the whole game. I was just like, all right, you're going to bench me? Fine. And then you know, um, not an experience I had often playing football. Again, mediocre athlete. But that game focused energy. It was the best I'd ever played, probably before or since that point in my life. After the game, the coach said, all right, I know you can do it now. That's what I needed to see. I was like, what? And he said I benched you to motivate you. He said I wanted to make sure you weren't being lazy. I wanted to make sure that you knew that any minute it could all go away. So he didn't bench me to punish me. He didn't bench me necessarily even to reward the other guy. He benched me to motivate me, to bring out something that he didn't know, that he wasn't sure, but he thought that I probably had. Um, in that case, he was doing what Nick Lowe said. He was being cruel to be kind. I picked myself up off the ground to have you knock me back down and again and again. Now, in the middle of tough love, it might feel like that. If they're holding you to a higher standard, it might feel like that. It's going to sting. It's going to hurt. You're not going to understand, maybe. Sometimes you need to remember the other line in that song. You got to be cruel to be kind in the right measure. Now, the second part of that is what matters, in the right measure. The difference between cruelty and coaching is intent. If your intent to do that tough love is to spur that teammate, spur the other members of your team to better and greater and higher purpose and better things, use that part of the phrase, in right measure. Because in leadership, whether it's coaching, parenting, job market, youth sports, whatever, your job is not to shield people from pressure. You've got to prepare them to handle it. That means tough feedback. That means honest conversations. Sometimes you've got to make hard decisions made out of belief rather than spite or bitterness or something. The right kind of tough love, the right type of cruelty to be kind, it's not going to tear your people down. It's going to pull greater things out of them. I believe it. I've done it. I've seen it. So whether you're the one making the call or watching from the bench, don't miss the point. Sometimes the tough love, sometimes the hard thing is the right thing. That fire you feel in the gut, that's just that's the furnace that you're being tempered in. So, Nick Lowe, cruel to be kind. And that's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you find it helpful. I hope you're able to put it in place in your own life, whether you're the one being cruel to be kind or whether it's being done with you or to you. So I appreciate you being here. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow is supposed to be hashtag Fun Friday, and I don't have anything figured out yet. I'll think about it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget, as always, life is short. Drink the bourbon.